Space. It's an inevitable reality toy collectors have to face. You can sweep away dust with a vacuum, but space isn't flexible. This is especially true for fans of Power Rangers and Super Sentai. These shows constantly reinvent themselves with new designs and themes. It's tempting to collect everything to represent this vast legacy, especially the Megazords that unite these teams. I love these two series, but I'm also a huge LEGO fan. I'd love a separate room to expand my collection, but I live in a house with other people. I don't want to stop collecting, but I know my space will run out if I don't make a few consolidations. So, what do I do? For weeks I scratched my head with this question, until I noticed people talking about this toy line called Minipla. They're like the deluxe toys, but smaller and even with a few bonuses. I found my solution: buy smaller Megazords. But I've been buying deluxe for so long, it just seemed unnatural to switch over. There's an ongoing debate as to whether the deluxe or mini-pla toys are better. But today, I want to settle this question. I want to look at both types of toys to determine which is the better version. I'm JulioCoolio, and today we'll be asking, Minipla or deluxe Megazords? Let's begin with the deluxe mecha. These are the toys most people are familiar with. The first was produced during 1979's Battle Fever J, when Sentai got its first giant robot. This figure only stood at 6 inches, which continued with Denji Robo the next year. Eventually, Sun Vulcan introduced the average height we're used to today. These mecha would evolve in the years to come. Sun Vulcan introduced combining Zords, 1988's Masked Man created a 5-piece combo, and 1992's Zyuranger, which became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, brought in realistic-looking animals to the mix. For many years, Bandai America simply imported the Japanese toys, with a few altered details. Due to rising costs, they began to create their own molds starting in 2007's Operation Overdrive. In 2010, they finally settled on the Zord Builder system. These Megazords would include a streamlined set of ports that would combine with vehicles and other Megazords from that era. Hasbro took over the brand in 2019, eliminating Zord Builder but still creating original molds. Whether they're Japanese or American, these Megazords shared the same core idea. They recaptured the enormous stature of Megazords in the show by measuring anywhere from 9 to 14 inches. Like on TV, they can combine and swing their arms. The average Megazord costs $30, with $15 for the auxiliary, though Hasbro charged $30 for both with their Beast Morphers line. Meanwhile in Japan, Megazords usually go anywhere upwards of 6,000 yen, or 60 US dollars. All of my life, I've been collecting these types of Megazords. Most of my collection consists of releases from the 2010s, with a few instances from the 2000s. Their large size is iconic. Having them separate and combine while being so bulky gives them a distinct feeling from other robot toys. They're easy for a kid to grab, and feel like cool statues to adult collectors. I also love the sizing consistency. Even if some Megazords are a tad shorter than others, having multiple generations of robots on the same scale is so satisfying. You can also get some cool crossovers between shows. So let's say the Solaris Streak Megazord from Mystic Force and Decello from Tokyuger. But this size can pose a big problem for those who want to collect various Megazords. They take up a lot of shelf space, especially as recent shows have a ton of Megazords. I have a shelf full of Dino Charge Zords, and that's not even half of them. And to fit almost every Megazord since Mighty Morphin, Bruno from MMPR Toys needed to install a massive shelving unit in his basement. No, but seriously, it actually does look pretty cool. Another major selling point for the deluxe toys is the use of show-accurate gimmicks. Q Reno lights up with the press of a button. Lupin Ranger vs Powder Ranger's Good Striker can say different phrases. Though not all gimmicks have to be electronic. Wild Force, Operation Overdrive, and Dino Charges toys encourage mixing and matching different Zord combos. On the other hand, the Legacy line included die-cast parts to give the Zords a fancier look. Sadly though, these gimmicks overshadow the articulation. As I mentioned, most Megazords only feature rotating arms. Some, like the Super Zeo Megazord and Go Jujin, have bendable elbows and knees. But this is only because their transformations require those fixtures. And keep in mind Bandai America's versions didn't always have electronics, especially during the Zord Builder era. That wouldn't be a problem if they added something extra to the mix other than just ports. Transformers can transform into different modes and pose for roughly the same price. You have to question why Bandai couldn't deliver the same. And speaking of Transformers, Hasbro have learned this lesson. The Beast Racer Zord, Dino Megazord, and T-Rex Champion Zord all have extra articulation. Though Bandai Japan insists on using the same limited articulation to this day. Now the mini-pla toys are shorter, literally and figuratively. Not only are they smaller, but they've only been around since 1985's Changeman. There's also a sort of legacy line called Super Mini-pla, which focuses on revisiting older shows such as Sun Vulcan, Kaku Ranger, Mega Ranger, etc. Super Mini-pla sets cost around $60, while a mainline Megazord altogether is usually listed around $20 in Japan. Two key factors separate these from their bigger cousins. Most obviously, these toys do not come complete. Like other model kits, you have to build them piece by piece. The pieces come in multiple boxes, which have the instructions printed on the inside. If you buy a premium set, you'll get just one box with paper instructions. For my first mini-pla purchase, I bought the Muteki Shogun from Kaku Ranger, aka the Shogun Megazord from MMPR. My experience building this was nothing short of a living hell. Leftover plastic would stay on when separating the pieces, some stickers would fly around wherever they please, and I nearly got a hernia a few times trying to mesh certain parts together, even with my dad's tweezers. I thought to myself,
wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
I could have written off the line here, but I already placed an order for Ryusoulger kits a few weeks before Shogun Megazord. So I watched a few videos to see if other people shared my concerns. And that's when I realized I was doing everything wrong. While the boxes advertise, no tools needed, you actually need tools to properly build Mini-pla. I went on Amazon and bought a Gunpla toolkit with cutting tweezers, polishing bars, pliers, etc. A few days later, I got my kit and was ready to build again. I was able to cleanly cut parts and reinforce the stickers. One or two pieces were still a challenge, but the whole experience was 99% smoother. It actually felt fun to put these sets together. I even stopped recording B-roll footage just to finish faster. While building Mini-pla may seem time-consuming, it's all worth it for the extra articulation. For the longest time, Mini-pla sets were just smaller versions of the deluxe counterparts. But since the 2000s, the Mini-pla have been able to recreate any pose and more. This works wonders for series like Tokyuger or Zyuohger, whose mechs have flexibility on screen despite their blocky designs. Their deluxe toys are honestly just bricks. Part of the reason I bought the Ryusoulger ones is because of the wild movements in the show. The deluxe toys can barely replicate that, and I don't know if Hasbro will release every single Zord. I'm still pretty pissed they ignored the Beast X King Zord. Though I think the best part about Mini-pla is their height. These tend to measure around 6 inches. This not only saves a ton of space, but they're compatible with any monster figures from Bandai or Hasbro. It adds a whole new level of show accuracy to the Zords, being able to fight real enemies instead of just thin air. Not to mention, they're a lot easier to photograph with different backgrounds. Heck, look what I managed to do in just one afternoon. Now, mini-pla is not all perfect. There are a few times where certain pieces will pop off. However, they're pretty easy to tighten with your hand or a tweezer. But you also have to make sure you don't handle the plastic too hard. The arms of my black Shogun Zord broke off when I tried to fold it into the Megazord leg. When I painted the right shin on JulioCoolio, the joint gradually began to snap. Most experts recommend cement glue as a remedy. Unlike other glues, this one supposedly fuses the plastic together. I also talked about the stickers being a bit difficult. If LEGO stickers are super glue, mini-pla stickers are more like Elmer's glue sticks. However, you can color all the details with paint or Gundam marker. And while my JulioCoolio is far from perfect, I think it'll look decent with a few more touches. Though if you want to get into mini-pla, you really have to buy them as they come out. Sometimes they can go for crazy prices on the aftermarket since they're not the default Megazord toy. However, some sellers on eBay have pretty good prices. Kotetsu Toys Japan also has a large selection of old and new mini-pla at fair prices. And also a ton of more Toku toys if you're interested. Now that I laid out both sides, which one of these is better? Honestly, I think the answer depends on your personal taste. The deluxe toys are great if you like giant completed toys. They may lack articulation, but make up for that with lights and sounds. Even then, articulation is becoming less of a concern given Hasbro's developments. If you need more shelf space or additional articulation, mini-pla is for you. You will have to build them, though I didn't mind this given my experience with LEGO sets. And while mini-pla has its own set of problems, they're pretty easy to solve. Both of these lines have different focuses, but they each have their own appeals. Given my need for space, I think I'll stick with mini-pla in the future, though I may buy a deluxe toy on occasion for some of my favorite Megazords. As I was writing this video, I thought about another form of Zords. Back during the Disney era, Bandai America made Microzords that could combine for Overdrive, Jungle Fury, and RPM. RPM's version was easily the best, as you could form every combo from the show. If Hasbro could accomplish something similar, I think it'd be a happy balance between both lines. You can get combinability and the articulation of mini-pla without the extra effort of importing or constructing the sets. Anyways, which Megazords do you prefer to collect? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and click the bell to stay updated on the latest videos. If you want more things Coolio, make sure to follow me on social media. But wow, I'm Julio, stay Coolio, and thanks for watching everyone!